Hello and welcome to Maypole, where testing is about to commence. There we go, all done. Damn, I'm almost out of coffee again. So, the reason, rather than doing an actual playthrough, like I've started originally, I've decided I would do testing, because until the version is actually in the stage where it's playable, it's not worth doing an actual playthrough on. So, like the straw that was floating here has now been fixed, and Farmer Dad, who pointed out around here, he'd posted pictures to me, the silage or the chaff had come through the walls here and around this side. I've since made altercations, couldn't get the words out, couldn't think of the words, into the bunker to try and combat that. At the back, he said, was fine, and from the way I've seen the bunkers are done now, you don't need an alt tip area to prevent things from spilling through. The walls are meant to do that. So originally the markers was like halfway through the walls, as they would have been in 17. On either side here, and then on the back it was basically somewhere back here, and this wall stops it. So we're going to be testing that, and I don't think there's anything else that actually needs testing. Jump down to the store though, because there might be a case of, yeah, as you can see, the ground no longer comes through the. But that was, no, that was actually fixed before, my bad. It was just Farmer Dad pointed it out in the server, and I was like, oh yeah, I need to fix that, but I'd actually already fixed that in version 3. And in fact it was fixed in version 2, it's just we hadn't updated to the latest version on the server. And that can't be good when you've got these on, and we don't want weeds, because we hate weeds. Until Seasons comes out, we're not doing weeds, and we'll have all the rest on. Sounds good, and we'll save it anyway. Let's see what we've got to grow though. Or not to grow, but work with. 59 is soybean, canola, soybean. We could buy that and sell it, flip the field. 57 is canola. And 63 is wheat. Well, we need wheat. We want some straw bales. And 50 is corn, which isn't ready to go along with 60. So it looks like we'll be going through these. What's 61 like? 60, oh, we ain't doing 61. 61's potatoes. They can stay. We're all good. We're all set with that. So let's see, what have we got? Because we need some money, and we need to take the handbrake off as well. That would be very helpful. And we need to go to those other. I do not believe this could fit through there, but it's worth a test, right? Okay, it will fit through. Well, that's good to know, except that might be a problem, huh? I don't think you could. No. Well, that answers that question. Would it be advisable to go all the way around? And the answer is yes, or there's another way you could do this. It's a bit more fiddly. By the time you've gone around, you'll probably actually be quicker, but you may as well test as well, right? Oh, that sign slightly sticks out, that board. There we go. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? and we want to go down here. Into, what was it, 59? It was 59, wasn't it? I know we don't own the fields yet, yeah. 59 and 57, in fact. While we're in here, we should buy the field. 57.9 we will buy. And we should be opening, yep, the top. And let's harvest this field. Unless somebody says something else is a problem, or well, I'll be for sure doing some mowing at some point. Probably going to be going until about 2:30, so that's about 2.5 hours. So should get some mowing done in that time, theoretically. And test the bunker out to make sure that the bunker works. Otherwise, it'll be a case of updating the bunker again and probably actually putting a tip collision in, just a non-tip area in, just to reduce the likelihood of it happening, shall we say. But if we can get it to work as Giants have got it working, then, or has intended it to work, then we're going to aim for that. Oh, grab the kid sweets, may as well. Plus it's the last one. Or the last one out of that pack anyway. So I've been on my bike and had my exercise today. It was actually a very, very quick ride today. I was back by 9:30. I raced into the town, went to a cafe, had my usual coffee or cappuccino, and then raced back out of town, back home, and sat here working on fixing Maypole, or trying. So, yeah. Half an hour. Not bad. And that was probably a grand total of 2.5 miles. And a large cappuccino that I drank in the cafe. I didn't drink it on the way, on the bike or anything. So yeah. And I haven't got to go out again, or shouldn't have to go out again today, until it's time to get the kids, so you'll have to put up with me until about 2:30, 2:45. Well, don't have to, you can just turn there. Go and watch somebody else, I guess, if I annoy you that much. Or you manage to stay awake long enough. Don't know why I ate these sweets, they're vile. So I was contemplating on doing a stream last night with Moondog Racing, but it turns out there was an issue. It wasn't Moondog's on my Moondog's end, it was just an issue in the area. So sadly didn't get to stream that. The races and that we would have done, but maybe tonight, maybe Friday, we'll see. I will be in Wreckfest Friday. And by the sounds of it, Massey wants to join us. Sounds good. Word of warning though. Don't go in anybody's way, because they'll drive straight through you. So apparently you can take almost £1 million out in loan. I always thought it was 500,000, but apparently it's like nearly £1 million. I guess maybe game difficulty affects that, or not game difficulty, but game mode. So New Farmer has access to more funds early on, because they start off with theoretically less money, but starting equipment and a farm, depending on if the map maker has set it up like that or not. Because I was going to look at what fields you should start off with on this map, and then it was like, actually no, I'm not going to do that just yet. I would rather speak with Farmer Dad on that particular part and see what he feels are the fields you should start off with. Because I might overdo it and give you a bunch of fields if it's left to me. Like Riverview, where you've got literally a lot of fields. But what we'll do is, in fact, it's just dawned on me, something I still haven't done and I was going to do was get that damn trigger for the garage so you can customize your vehicles and whatnot in place, and I forgot to do it. Oh well. Fields 27 and 28 is good. Basically you don't need any other fields then, huh? Okay, that's good enough. You got one grass field and one arable field. Caps again, don't worry, it's cool. I take it you're in Farm Sim at the moment then. The addiction is back. See, I'm questioning, was it seasons I'm missing, or was it just the facts of a farm, an actual real farm layout that I was missing? Don't know. I've been enjoying Riverview more since the farm layout has been back to how it should be, and Maypole looks a lot better with that, but I don't know. I look forward to Seasons, but I would happily play it as is right now. Oh, okay. I may as well have just carried on down to the bottom then. I thought there was a bit up here, further up that I'd missed. Let's not be here all day. We got mowing to do. Actually, we got mowers to buy or lease out, and then a field to buy, and then we'll start mowing. If we don't have to fast forward time before then. In fact, now we can actually buy the mowers because we will be able to sell the grain. What I might do is in a minute jump onto Discord and go into the recording room, so if anyone wants to jump in they can. That way any of the monkey show anyway, be easier. I'll get this field done first though. Put the pipe out, I guess, because at the top of this field we'll have to empty. But we'll need to, I need to take the trailer down and get it upgraded. So we'll take something down to sell. Like, what do we have that we could possibly sell? That's why, because if we have that sitting there, then maybe when I jump to a vehicle it won't give it almost a black screen. Or we could sell this thing, actually take this, because I have no use for this just yet. Oh, I didn't put the garage back either. Damn. That'll be going back soon. So, new version to come. All in the name of testing. If I was doing chickens, then I'd have probably kept this around for transporting eggs, but there won't be enough chickens to warrant this being the case. So we'll just park this here, and the doors for this will be making their return. No, we want to sell that, we don't need it. And then take this down, take the handbrake off, it does help. Let's see if there's anything we want to there we go. I was going to say we ain't hitting the trigger. We should be hitting the trigger. Wheat, barley, oats. Oats we can take down actually. Yeah, that still needs fixing then, huh? Okay. Well, we'll get that fixed again. Hey Dan. Somebody's playing with their pole today. Yeah, definitely. It's okay. It's all good. As long as they don't play with it outside, because it might be the South Pole. Or it might feel like the South Pole. Or North Pole, rather. North, not South, it's North. I know what I meant. Getting mixed up with the poles. Sounds well. Shouldn't say things like that with Dan around, should you? You're only asking for trouble when you do that. Right, let's go into here and sell that. And jump into Discord while I'm thinking about it. There we go. Haven't you sold yet? Jeez, hurry up. There we go. Just under 10k. I'd sell quite well. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Dan. Hello, David.
Hello. Dan abandoned me there. I had to come down. Just mute the stream open here.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you fix in the map? I missed that bit. I was getting my breakfast.
The straw in the cow shed is no longer floating.
Alright, well I meant to ask you, that actually wasn't supposed to be above the thing as there was no straw in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was, what I'd done was I took the level of one, because you got three planes, and I took the level of one plane, and I'd put the other ones further down in the map, but they was floating above because it read it as a combined total.
Alright, because I hadn't been too worried, because I know you said the other day that you hadn't like the feed troughs levels and stuff done, so I was kind of, yeah, right,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you haven't done it yet.
Yeah, but I've done that, and then the bunker, I've moved the start and width points further into the bunker, so that, because originally they was set to be halfway through the wall on either side, and the back one wasn't. That one was actually further away from the wall.
Right, because as I said, the back one works fine.
Mm-hmm. So I moved.
You can't see if there's grass in it, but it hasn't come out the back of it, like, and I've rolled it up to the wall.
Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping now that it will be... no, I don't want to cover 2000, yes. Hopefully now it will be fixed.
I decided I'd sounded good yesterday to take about 20 missions.
So you're going through all the missions?
I have one more. I have to, well, actually, this is my last one, but I have to do one more at Sunflower if it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
To see can I clear that other one. But so I've harvested them all and I've put them all into the silo.
Yeah.
So harvest them all and then dump the crops.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't used that trigger to unload yet, or to load yet, so... I see you still had that issue with the lime, did you?
Yeah. Not with the lime, it was with the what's it called? The texture of it as it's coming out. It's below the pipe. So and it doesn't fill in. It's doesn't reach into the trailer far enough, so it looks kind of weird in that sense.
Alright, you adjust that, do you?
Yeah. So I've just got to adjust that.
Could you fix the lime thing that you had trouble with day one?
Yeah, move that further back. So what I will do is take the soybean out of here, and then...
Yeah, so I was looking at field, is it 16, the grass one opposite the cell point?
Mm-hmm.
And that is a green texture on it. But the sheep one is definitely a brown texture.
And you've mowed the sheep.
I've mowed it. I'm just waiting for it to grow back.
Yeah, as soon as it grows back, it should.
I'm on slow. Well, I'm at 12 at night on my day one.
Mm-hmm.
So it hasn't grown back yet. So I don't know, will it change? But that's what I'm saying, the other field is already green and there's more emissions and that on some of them.
Yeah.
So I don't know, is it when the AI plants it or something?
No, because it happened on field 5 on Riverview. It was brown when you first started, when I first mowed it.
All right, or you did get to the second harvest of it, did you?
This was when I first played it.
All right.
The very first version 2, I think it was, what I was doing the playthrough on that version. And then and I asked you, and he was like, no, it was brown, and for Fellsburn, and then next time I went to that field, it was green underneath, and he was like, oh, it's fixed itself.
All right, we'll see when it regrows when we get there.
But it was still shown as needing ploughing, and then I was like, well, maybe on the third harvest it will consider itself as being ploughed now that it's considering itself as a field, as an actual meadow.
Yeah, because it may not, yeah. We'll see.
But yeah, fucking nearly $1 million though you can take out in a loan. It's a lot of money.
And 13 harvesting contracts is what I had. $26.
11,000.
Yeah, I think they've increased that. Well, I know with Seasons had done something with that as well, hadn't they?
What's that? Oh, the
They had
grass.
done it so that no, the loans, they'd done it so that depending on your land value or something, you could.
Yeah, Seasons.
So I'm wondering, is maybe that implemented in the game?
Maybe.
Like, what's your like? You have 2 plots of land in this, so it's not like your land value is nothing.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
I mean, like you're saying, like, is about how many fields to give. I mean, I cook, so field 27 is quite big.
Mm-hmm.
As you find out when you're using your 3-meter equipment on it.
Yeah.
So like that's quite big, and then you have what you call it. Then you have 28 as a grass field because you don't. If you have no sheep and if you have no cows, you have that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got 80,000 odd. Was it 86,000 liters of grass off of those 2?
Wow.
So it's not as if you don't start with anything.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
I mean, even if you start with cows or whatever, you can still cut the grass.
Mm-hmm. Right, let's go on. So there's just enough room to get that combine out through the back way. If you reverse it out, you're okay.
Yeah, no, I it's actually hard enough going the other way too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'd forgotten, and I'd forgot that windrower doesn't go through the cow shed.
Mm-hmm.
The big windrower.
Yep.
I'd forgotten. I drove into the cow shed, and it was like, oh yeah, that doesn't fit through there because it's too high. But that harvester was always tight going there.
Mm-hmm.
And is it by default, because I haven't really done much, is it by default now that they don't charge you the €1,000, dollars, whatever, mechanics fee at the shop anymore now?
I guess so, because I haven't, this hasn't been modified by me.
Because I was going to say you hadn't put your mechanic in the shed, that little shed.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously when it's free at the garage, you don't need it.
Yeah.
And with that service trailer, no, you definitely don't need it. Just buy the service trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Actually fits nicely behind the Mahindra or the John Deere. I don't like the John Deere, but the head tracker works inside it. It doesn't in the Mahindra for some reason.
Okay.
So when you're in the Mahindra, you can't change your view. I don't know, is it only with the head tracker or is it the Mahindra?
Oh, the Gator, the John Deere Gator,
yeah,
you mean?
The John Deere Gator, yeah. You might want to mess around with those trees a bit down by the cell point still.
Okay.
I see you have moving around a bit, but not enough.
Mm-hmm. I've got some. I'm going to be swapping some trees out for making different trees, putting different trees in here and there just to break them up as well. So there won't be all the same species. There'll be some that will be the bark trees or the birch trees. They're the white trunk ones, more straight, and then these ones that are already in now, and maybe some of the other ones that are like the Vision or the venison. No, it can't be venison because that's fucking meat. I guess they're called Vision. Or
which?
Vision. It's
tree.
Yeah.
Type.
Mm-hmm. It's called it's a weird name. It's the big brown bushy one, the one that hangs really low.
Alright, okay. That's in-game already, is it?
It's in the default maps, yeah.
Oh.
It's on the American map. I don't think you'll see it on the European map.
Yeah, the one thing you could add actually is a weight.
Mm-hmm. To the starting equipment.
To the starting equipment, because I was doing line pallets,
Mm-hmm.
and that John Deere doesn't like line pallets.
That John Deere doesn't like much.
Like it's very, you put a line pallet on the front of it and it struggles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, any pallet on the front of it, it struggles, to tell you the truth.
John Deere.
So a weight wouldn't be of. A weight would be good.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a smaller tractor. So, well, what size is the John Deere? The John Deere is only 142 or something.
Yeah.
It's just a big tractor.
Mm-hmm. It's just a big, bulky tractor, but its power-wise isn't that much. I think it can go up to like 160 something fully upgraded.
Yeah. I just think the two tractors. Well, I just think John Deere. I keep in my head that they're big, but they're not really big. Like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using this little Amtrak. Is the new one that was in 17 or 19? They gave it to me as a drawn tractor.
Yeah.
And I have it on the AgroLiner, the double axle one.
Mm-hmm.
And surprisingly enough, it was pulling up from field 30. Do you know that hill going up there?
Yeah.
It was doing kind of 10 kilometers an hour, which is as fast as some of the bigger tractors seem to do on that trailer.
Yeah, some equipment has definitely been surprising.
I said that tractor just seems to have, it has a lot of grunt. It seems to have a lot of grunt.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to, say, some of the other tractors. I don't know what horsepower it is. It's not very much.
Yeah. What the other thing that I've changed is, the hedges are now around by the slurry pit for the cows, and the fencing at the sheep. If you don't start off with all of the buildings and everything, all of them won't be there. So the hedges that would have theoretically be in your way won't be there. It'll be a completely open area. Sheep zone will be the top end will be completely open instead of the fencing and the hedges there.
Yeah, I know that makes sense. But I'd said to you that about it because I hadn't actually seen your setup for the sheep.
Yeah.
But I was saying that about the sheep if you put the. But I see you'd use the shed anyway to do it. So like it's not as much fencing as it was in 17.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean now about the thing for filling it. Yeah, needs to be moved up. Yeah, the other thing would be possibly that sheet thing is sitting a bit high as well. Like, it's not sitting high; it's just a very big step on it.
What? Oh, the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because of the back quarter. It actually is underground slightly.
You'd have to raise the terrain, I'm assuming, in the yard, kind of, to level it out.
Or smooth the back end out so that it's lower down at that end.
Yeah.
And
It just looks a bit off.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I haven't come across anything.
As for the cows and that on Riverview, I've made their nav mesh, you know, the planes that you use to create the nav mesh.
Yeah.
Instead of taking the biggest point of their pasture and using one plane to do that and then filling in the gaps, I've actually broken it all up into smaller sections, and the cows don't sink through the ground that I've seen. So that might be fixed now. But I sat there watching for half an hour or so the cows walking around, and none of them sank.
How about your sheeps?
The sheep, I redid their nav mesh, and when they spawned in they froze, and I was like, do all the animals immediately freeze when you first spawn them in, and then they start walking around and there's no issues after that? Because the sheep, I would have to test them out on here and buy sheep, because the sheep trigger is actually inside the cow pasture, isn't it? So you can see immediately the sheep walking around, whereas the other animals you can't see immediately. You have to walk a bit further in, and then you get to see the animals. So I don't know if they immediately freeze, and then after a couple of seconds they unfreeze, and that's it. I don't know.
I haven't really done anything with animals.
There we go. Let's...
So you pull the BGA a bit out from where it was in 17 as well. Makes it a bit tighter getting in and out. Trying to reverse the forward dragging into that pit was fun.
All in the interest of making it fun.
Well, first of all, trying to get in was fun. And then when you're in, then you drive in and then reverse back in. And I have the smallest forward dragon, like the new one.
Yeah. But then if you make field whatever it is, 52, the smallest field, right at the back of the farm, I guess you could make that a grass field, and then you could just turn back in from there.
52.
Is it 52? Yeah, it's 52.
Oh, 52. Yeah, that little one. I don't know, I'd be planning that one as having that as for
sugar beets.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely going to do my sugar cane in there.
Canola, yes.
But I'd be kind of placeables or something in there. Especially with the editing terrain, or you could level it off a bit.
Yeah.
Put a cliff in the back of it, or sink the front of it, and then just have like a little road going down into it. It should be fun if you had to haul stuff up out of there, like.
Yeah. What is it, 57 now? And sell this build back to them. Don't need it. Ooh. This one's 57 and 56. And 56 has cotton on it. Well, I won't be doing that.
Are you sure cotton is good? Oh no, 56. No, you can't do that. So you can't compare with the run.
Yeah.
And that big field 64 didn't start in cotton. Doesn't start in cotton anymore either.
Good.
That's a lovely mission to do. There's still plenty of cotton fields around that you can get at.
Mm-hmm.
But that 164 is now something else. So does that mean you were saying that you're not starting a save game, that if you restart or update it, it'll have to be a new save?
Yeah. Because when I tried to edit the items XML file, which is for the spawning in all the buildings
Right.
disappeared. So it's like, yeah, forget it, just
Alright,
do
well
test.
because I've only got the starting off fields,
Mm-hmm.
and it's only equipment, I've got extra equipment, so I mean I've no worries with that.
Yeah.
I presume you can just change your start in XML then?
What for your equipment, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can replace. You can put your vehicle's
So like
XML file in.
start a new game and then put your vehicle XML file in, and
Yeah.
the only thing would change is your fields will go back to whatever state they were in
Yep.
originally, but I mean I get hope of that.
Yeah,
and you
because
can
bales aren't saved. Any bales that you do, I would sell, because they don't get transported over. They're not saved in your vehicle's XML file anymore. They're saved in the
Right.
items XML. So you'd
I
lose
don't
them.
have bales, I went forward dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I was asking, could you do the missions?
Yeah.
Does it say bail? Like, I know it gives you bail and equipment.
And animals you'd have to sell because they are in the items XML file as well.
I'll just wait till...
But it was like, I'm not going to do an actual playthrough on the map until I've got... Because
Right,
I don't want to
I can-
keep going like #1. It's like, well, didn't you do an #1 like a couple of weeks ago? Yeah, but it's a new version. You know, it's like, do the tests, and then once it's up and running, I can
call
go.
them version 1, because by the time we stream again, it'll be version 2 or 1.1, and then the next one will be 1.2. And but yeah, I can hold. I'm not worried. But say I have no worry in editing the money anyway if it comes to that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
If
that's why.
if I had 100 cows, I'd just sell them and rebuy them. It'd be like, yeah, it's grand. I'd just do myself X amount of money.
Yeah, well, that's why Stardock said he got all of his vehicles in, why he wanted his starting vehicles in place, and then made backups of those. So if he had to start again, he's already got his vehicles, it's less work.
Yeah, I had changed the vehicles, and then I was like, you know, I've started again, used the default vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
All I've done is brought the back more, the side back more, the small, the front more, forward tracking and a windrower.
Yeah.
Because you don't give any grass there to the equipment.
Mm-hmm. Well, originally you didn't start off with cows or anything, did you? You just had the buildings.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I have no animal. I haven't started off with any animals. Like.
Mm-hmm. Whereas in 17, I gave it, 20 cows or something like that.
Yeah.
Was it
Well, you
cows?
get bales and all that stuff as well.
Yeah. Was it cows that you started off with? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah. See, I think if you're starting off with animals, you should start off with sheep. Don't mind starting off with cows, start off with the sheep.
Yeah, but then people be going, why are you starting off at that farm when it's all the way down here? You've got to come. That'd be the downside to that. People be.
I think you should set all just where I have all my gear now. Well, because, and I'll tell you why. field 27 is the field that you own.
Yeah.
So you have to plough that, cultivate it, plant
Well,
it,
actually, there is a way around that.
fertilise it. So
You just put
to me, like, that's where I have all my equipment, is down there.
You just put the John Deere down there with the front loader stuff and a flatbed trailer and some bales, and there you go. You've got vehicles in both farms. It's up to you.
Yeah, so do that. And to me, as I said, like, field 27 is a massive field. So it's like field 27 is. I've taken all my stuff down there because I had to do that field anyway to plant it.
Yeah.
Because I sold my fertilizer spreader that you give starting off and got another one. It's a modded one. It's on Mod Hub. It does lime.
Yeah.
So it's like an 18-meter spread of lime on a 3-pointed thing. So it holds 1,800 litres.
Yeah.
So you still have to refill it a lot, but it's a lot easier than having the trail one day.
Yeah, if there's one oversight that Giants made, it was that particular thing. That you've only got, it's a trail behind that you have to use for lime. I get why they did it, because you'll get through lime so fast, but...
Yeah, but and that with the...
And lime's heavy as well.
But with that thing, no, that thing is the job. Like I said, it takes 1,800. And it's a fertilizer, because like those trailed ones are very big and expensive.
Yeah.
And they need enough horsepower as well, don't they? Considering the fact that when you start the game, all your fields need liming. And it only gives you 6-meter width starting off too, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, you have to
you
buy
can
the
get
upgrade,
12,
don't you?
like, yeah. And it's, whereas with the spreader, it's and with that hook, you know, that mod on Mod Hub, the hook, the big bags with the hook thing, you can use that, and then you can load a trailer, like you can load your flatbed trailer and that without needing actually a front loader.
Okay. Oh yeah, because you just use the 3 points on your tractor.
Use the 3-point, but you can, you can attach another 3-point on behind it. So you can have that between your tractor and your spreader.
Yeah.
And then use that for, but you can actually lift the bags up off the ground and put them onto the trailer. So you don't need a front loader.
Should get this field hopefully harvested before 1 o'clock.
What time is it? I won't be here. I have the time there, but I can't. It's very small. I have to look at that mod so you can increase it. 12:48. I have to go. I won't be here as long as you. I have to go before that.
Yeah. Well, Kai didn't fucking get back until nearly 5 o'clock yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah, his coach broke down. And so I'm standing out there in the freezing cold and I'm waiting for his coach, and it's like, okay, 4:20, he's, what the hell, he's not here yet. And then, so because the shop's right between where he gets dropped off and where I have to wait, so I was like, fuck it, I'm going to the shop, I'm going to get the stuff I need for the dinner and drop that in the house while I'm waiting. So I did that, and the woman who waits for her son, she was pacing up and down. I'm like, okay. And the woman further up was waiting for her daughter, and she'd started walking down towards this woman that's by me, And I'm like, I'm going home and I'm going to call the school and find out what's happening, thinking maybe the coach hadn't turned up at the school.
Right.
And so I phoned the school up and it's, sorry, there's nobody available to take your call right now. If you wish to leave your name and number. And it's like, you are shitting me. So finally his coach turned up and all I got was sorry, the coach broke down. It's like, well, you could have at least rang.
But like, should you not, especially when you're dealing with kids, like...
Nope, they don't give you the contact details.
Should they not be... Or the driver gets onto their office and goes, right...
Can you notify the parents this has happened?
You should be notifying the parents. Like, I mean, that's, what, 3 hours late?
That's nearly hour and...
Or an hour, is it?
Just over an hour.
Two is the smaller fella, isn't it? Yeah.
3, 3:15 for the smaller one.
Yeah, so like, yeah, it's 2 hours. Like, that's a long time, especially if you're waiting for... I mean, if you'd had to have the other children out, if you had more than whatever, and you had to have more kids out with you, like...
Yep. And so, as the coach drove off, I looked at the back of the because it's got the number on the back of the coach. It's like, right, take that fucking number down in case anything happens like this again, because clearly they ain't going to be contacting me. And so I took that number and then got home, sorted the dinner out, and then I had to go obviously because the ex was coming. And then earlier today I phoned up the coach company and gave out to the coach company for not notifying me of yesterday of what was happening. And they said we can reassure you that from now on we will notify all parents if something like this happens. It's like, you should have been doing that in the first.
I would say they got grief, so... But I would assume that, like, I deal with kids anyway.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, like, if you have that, then you should be notifying, especially like that, if you're supposed to be at whatever place. And this day of mobile phones, it's not like they have to go and find a phone box to ring their office and then...
No, they have phones. There's 3.
And if you're... Right, but I'm saying it's not like you have to find they'd have to find a phone box to ring their office, and then their office would ring your house, and if you're not at your house, you can't answer your phone. Like, we all have mobiles.
Talking about phones, be right back. Hate cold calls. Anyway, but yeah, no, they have mobiles on them. There's 3 people on the coach, 1 woman, a guy, and then the driver. So they have 2 escorts.
But that's what I'm saying. You would assume that...
And all the kids tend to have mobile phones, and they have to give it to the driver.
Right, but irrelevant of that, you would assume it's protocol. Bus breaks down. Well, you're going to have to ring a mechanic to fucking come and fix you.
Yep.
So would you not just ring your base and then they ring everyone to say, or send a text out to everyone to say, well, your child is stuck on the bus, it's broken down, we'll let you know what's happening.
Exactly. Be right back.
Yeah.
Never mind, they hung up. Before I even got to the phone. Fucking...
just don't answer. Just don't have a house phone, I don't have that issue. And a mobile, I just look at the number and go... I had a number the other day and I was in the car and I just looked at it. And it was like, no, don't recognise that number. And one of the kids like, and I says, right, I'll go home now and I'll Google that. She says, what do you mean you Google it? She says, you go in, you put the number into Google and it'll tell you if it's a dodgy number or not, if it's a recognised number. So I put into Google, she was watching me and it comes up, my car insurance. So I was right, if that comes through again. Because you see, I've worked out the best way. You know, you're supposed to shop around for insurance.
Yep.
I found the best way is just ignore them, and then they'll ring you to go. No, it doesn't happen with everything, but the car insurance definitely. I tried it with the bike insurance, and then it didn't ring me. I had to ring them back. But they ring you and go, "Oh, your policy is up, and did you get the renewal letter? And are you happy with it and all that?" Like, and you go, "Will you give me a discount?" Well, this year I got about a 10% discount on the original asking price by doing nothing but just sitting there waiting until they rang me. Oh, can you give me a discount? Yeah, we can knock some money off of that.
Yep.
But yeah, it is. Like, it is. But yeah, so the next time that number had rang then, and I looked at it, and it was like, yeah, I better answer that one.
It's one load of canola to sell.
Right, I'm selling all my stuff because, of course, I hadn't emptied out the silos to start off with anyway, so I have all that stuff in the silos as well.
That was why I was like, I may as well do the soybean and canola field at the back and empty the silo for them two particular things at the same time.
I've one sunflower mission left to do. So I can sell everything that's not sunflower. Yeah, I see your thing is definitely readable anyway now that you've changed the size on it.
Yep, that definitely helped. Thank you.
And you have you still don't have or do you have the weight at the bottom?
I do.
It just doesn't show it on screen.
No. Doesn't look like it, does it?
Yeah, no, I have your full screen, yeah.
Okay, so it does show it now.
No, as in it doesn't.
Oh.
As in, that's what I'm saying, I do have it because I was saying, did I have it because I have it in a window. But underneath you have Farming Simulator 19 Maypole Farms version 2 testing number 1. So I can see the bottom of the screen, like, just double check. Yeah, I have the bottom of the screen and it cuts off.
Just after
so
the weight.
Just
or
after
the hours.
The weight and yeah, the hours and like basically the end of where your back wheel thing to tell you if your back wheels are locked or not is where far down as I can see.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, because looking at mine, it's across there. It's like underneath, so I can't see your percentage and your amount you actually have in your whatever you're carrying. That doesn't. I can just see the line.
Yeah.
I can see the time, and I can see the 4-wheel drive thing. So it must be whatever way. Because you're playing it in full screen, yeah.
Yep.
And you're using. It should be capturing the screen, like.
Yep.
Strange one.
And it's in using my desktop resolution size, which is the recommended size for the monitor.
Yeah, you have an odd size, don't you? Yeah, mine are kind of odd, but I generally just put it at 18 or 1920 by 1080.
Which is what this is.
Especially if you're in full screen size, like if you're in full screen. Sometimes if you're in windowed mode, you have to kind of mess around with it.
Yeah. But now this is in 1920 by 1080.
Yeah, that's definitely what you're broadcasting at, yeah?
Yep.
Strange.
Yeah, because my desktop's set to the same resolution.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, if your desktop is set, it's... I haven't noticed it with anyone else, or...
I'd never paid any attention to it until
No, because I'm looking there, your map is the same, like everything below your map is missing as well. Your map sits a bit above the end of the screen, but on the stream it's on the bottom of the screen. How about the top, actually? Oh, the top looks right because your icon is there and that's there. Yeah, the top of the screen looks right.
So you can see the... Yeah, you can.
I
I'm
can
looking
see
at
your
the screen.
icon with the gap on it,
Yeah.
and then I can see your weather and all that, which has a gap above it.
No, I'm looking at the icons above there, the driver's seat, for the gauges and that, and yeah, they show.
I can see the bottom of your wheel.
You can.
I'm looking at your stream now, and I can just about see the bottom of your steering wheel.
Yeah, whereas the view I've got right now, when the stream catches up, is I can see the seat. So, and I can't see
can?
Yeah, I can't see the dials above anymore.
Oh, I can see your seat there now. You've moved.
Yeah.
And yeah, you've dropped your view down a bit there now. But still can't see all that. But it's not your view in. It's the bottom of your screen is missing.
Yeah.
But obviously you can see more than that on your own game.
I'll just have to look and see if there's a setting that has it broadcasting at whatever particular resolution. I don't think there is, but there might be. And make sure they set to default 1920 by 1080. Because it's a widescreen, it's set to 16 by whatever for that as well.
Right.
16 by 9 or something like that. Is that what they call it? I don't know.
Yeah, but that's still near enough 1920 by 1080. That is. That's your standard widescreen.
Yeah.
Trust it. The other one is 4:3 is the old ratio, which should be like 1800, which should be kind of 16 to 1200. I know my second monitor isn't quite in 1820 or 1920 by 1080. It's 1064 by whatever. It's kind of an odd shape, but it is there, like.
Yeah.
It's only when you have stuff in windowed mode and you open it to the full window and it sneaks into the second screen, you're like, you shouldn't have that issue because you've only the one screen. So full screen is full screen, whereas my screen is actually 3600 by 1080.
Yeah, when you're taking both screens together.
Because it reads it as that, like this. Oh, I have 18 or 1980 or whatever it is, that by 2, and then it's 1080 high.
Oh, okay.
So like when you've double monitors, that's the way it reads it. So if I go into I can't do it in the game, but if I go into adjust my settings, it gives me that setting. And if you have triple screens, then it'd be 1080 by 1920. So 1920 by 3 would be, so you're talking like 5000 something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have the updated drive control of it.
I do.
So, found out an interesting thing with that. If you have the direction, I don't know, does it do it now with the other one because I don't have it mapped anymore. If you have it set, so I have the direction button set, as in forward and backwards.
Are separate buttons.
As separate buttons because I use my plus and minus buttons on the wheel.
So you have what, drive control, or whatever it is, where it holds the same speed, or drives forward if you like drive control used to.
No, it doesn't do that.
Oh, okay.
Which is a good thing.
I know speed controls come out, so it's coming out.
It is out. It's on Mod Hub today.
Okay.
Well, listen, when I was looking at when I loaded the game up. No, but what it does is, so if you have cruise control, now I have stop and go braking is on. Yeah, because automatic start is off and stop go braking is on. So one is off, one is on. That's the way it always is. That's the best way to have it, yeah. So if I have my foot planted to the floor or cruise control on,
Yep.
hit forward, hit backwards, it changes without having to stop,
Okay.
which is what we were looking for from drive control. So I can sit there with cruise control on now, especially with your little, with the
Yeah,
H's,
so it does.
with the harvester, like.
I wonder if, is that because the
So,
Ambric
I don't know.
is
So
now
like
the
you
dead
hit,
zone?
like, so when you're trying to turn around, or at the end of the field, and you hit the, or you're coming up against the fence, like, and you just go, because like if you have cruise control on, you don't even have your foot near the pedal or whatever,
Yeah.
and so you just hit backwards. There you go, grand. Now you go backwards. Now go forwards.
Pay attention to the BGA readout on your right before you try to get that close.
So that was one of the features we had been missing from drive control.
Good to see it back though.
Yeah. So yeah, when I was harvesting the fields, I was using that for just using the steering wheel and that for changing directions.
Is it worth taking 3,400 litres down to sell of canola? Not really.
I better hold on to just feed it to the pig. So you don't have pigs, do you? No.
No.
But you can have them now if you want.
You can.
But I presume the piggery is actually still down, freaking in the corner of the map.
It is. It isn't there.
Just with no triggers.
Yeah, just not an animal zone anymore.
See, there's a little something for everyone. There is actually piggery on this farm. This map. It's just not accessible.
Yeah.
Thanks to, what was that? One of the animal mods, wasn't it?
It was. Well, I can't remember which one it was now, but one of the animal mods.
Price animals or something. One
Yeah.
that adjusted the prices, wasn't it?
Something like that. And you.
Show up an error because you had no pigs. Whereas I would assume now that stuff is placeable, it shouldn't throw up errors because you could well stay at the farm and you only put down what you want.
Well, you can have 10.
If it comes out, like.
Yeah. Well, you can have 10 animals, can't you?
You can have 32.
You have 32. So what? 10 of each plus the two dogs.
There's a mod out that makes it that you can have 32.
Jeez.
But they recommended not putting them too close together and all in the same spot.
Well, yeah, I can imagine
But
the
yeah,
lag.
they've changed the limit. But I would assume it's like every other limit. Like, do you remember when you could only have 64 crops? And then they changed it to 128, and I think it was 264 then as well. And
So the sheep, chickens, and cows icons are all appearing in the same spot, in the centre of the map.
Right, I'm wondering too, when you were saying that yesterday, actually, if you have a mod. Now I don't know why it's appearing like that. Maybe because it's the help icon. But if you have a mod, you can tell it if it appears on the whether it appears on the PDA or not. And I'm wondering, are they turned off on your mods, like in your placeable thing?
Maybe.
There would be a line in the XML visible on PDA or something. It's visible on true or false, as far as I remember. Well, it was in 17 anyway. And possibly that could be. No, that wouldn't explain why they are appearing in the middle of the map.
Especially when the actual husbandry for the cows is actually Control B and put on the spot where it is right now. So its icon theoretically should have been there.
And those icons don't actually show up GE, do they?
No.
But there must be something there, obviously linking it to something.
I'll have to have a play around. I've looked in the XML and I couldn't find anything for the icons. And I looked in the i3D and couldn't find anything in there either. And it's like, okay.
But they're appearing from somewhere.
Because like the BGA and the sell point for this, for the
Yeah, the BGA is in the right spot.
Or
Your
what's
house
it
is
called?
in the right
Wood
spot.
chips. That icon. I had to
Are they all on
fix.
top of each other? Because I have chickens in the middle of the map.
Yeah, they're all on top of each other. Because when I didn't have chickens in the map, that was a sheep icon. And when I clicked on it, it gave me cows, and I was like, huh? Yeah, because when I click on it, it's showing the cow pasture
Yeah, because I have
icon.
the two tip triggers are shown by the lime, and the other one is obviously the silo.
Mm-hmm.
BGA is shown where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing else. I'm just looking there actually, yeah, because
So
field 28 is shown as being cultivated.
yeah. Yeah, because there's nothing on it. And
Whereas
it
if you
needs
turn on the
ploughing.
grass, there's grass on it. Like, well, it needs ploughing, it needs liming.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm saying. It's if you turn on the grass is down there fully ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's shown as brown underneath, and it's shown as cultivated.
Mm-hmm.
But as you said, yeah, we'll have to just leave it run and see how that goes.
Yep. So garage, what's the horsepower on there? It's 170. Okay. See if this tractor can have its engine upgraded a little bit. I don't think it can.
What one is that the case?
Mm-hmm. And if it can, then I'll get its engine upgraded to whatever it can go up to, and then it'll become the powerhouse on the map.
It already is, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's just a little bit more than the John Deere. If not, then I'll have to replace it for something a bit more oomph to it. Maybe the other case.
It's a smaller tractor with a front loader, and then put a bigger.
Yeah, go for the Voltra N and get rid of the John Deere and just have one tractor.
Well, I have no issue with two tractors, but I think a smaller front, like as I said, they're two fairly big tractors.
Mm-hmm. Right, let's see. Can you be upgraded engine? You can. You can go up to 214, 255, 261. Geez, that's a bit too much, isn't it? 214 sounds. Yeah, I think. 261 it can go up to for 45,000. Damn.
Because you could buy a new tractor, you could get the Hurleyman fucking mod and buy that fucking the whole tractor for 45,000.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going for the 261 horsepower. It's definitely got the power now for everything they could ever need. So it's definitely the powerhouse now on the map.
You could nearly start using the big bud equipment. Is that like 1:15? Is that right?
It is.
Right. Swimming after school today.
Mine's going great tomorrow. Sports day for not sports day. It's a bit cold for sports day. PE for one and swimming for the other. And then the youngest one's like, so next Tuesday, Dad, can I start doing maths club? It's like, yep, that's fine. So he will be coming out of school a bit later.
Maths club.
Maths club.
7.
Mhm. He loves maths though, so good for him.
Start getting him playing things like Factorio and.
See, there else there's a girl that he's got a crush on going there.
Well, that's a good reason too.
Yeah,
Florence.
yeah. So find out. I mean, he used to wear gel to school, and then the teacher turned around and embarrassed him and went, "Are you trying to impress the girls?" And he went, "Dad, I'm not having gel on anymore." Okay.
That's the small fella.
Yeah.
Why small fella? No interest in girls.
Neither is mine, but he turned around and because one of the mums, I was speaking to her yesterday, and she's got a daughter, and he was running off, and I'm like, is it because you've got a crush on his daughter? You know, you're embarrassed. Because normally he doesn't run off, but he got embarrassed for some reason. Oh, push that button.
Windows is deciding to. It looks like 144. I just out of your stream is crap.
My stream's crap.
No, it's decided that my internet is able to deal with 144p.
Well, this leasing the rake after this, and then the forage wagon, and test that bunker out.
All I can say is that in the middle of the night, it's even harder to find a way out of fields.
And if you're not muted, you would actually be able to speak.
Alright.
Or
Touch your pen away.
no.
Yeah, you need to put in little flashy lights by the entrances of the field. When you're putting in gates, put a flashy light on it. So that when you're doing your missions at 1 o'clock in the morning, you can find the
exit, yeah.
The exit. Because even though I have all the work lights on in the harvester, I still can't see more than 2 foot over. Like, you still can't see across the field.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't add the water tap either. You didn't look at that.
Not yet. There's a few things I've still got left to do. That being one, the garage by the house being the other, putting that back in.
That
and
was
then
the green. That's where the green patch was.
and then the animal tip thingy heights for the feeding troughs and that, getting all of them fixed so they work correctly. Because the sheep one should work correctly because it's built into the actual feeding trough. It's not.
Right, yeah, whereas the cows aren't.
Yeah. And the water one as well, getting that to be correct. But the sheep shouldn't need any modifications whatsoever because it's all built into their actual trough already.
Yeah, the one that's sat in the field, so have no lime around it because they can. It's on the actual field. So I've cut all the grass around it as much as I can. There was none showing through it. But yeah, there's like a ring of lime around it now.
Back to the store and get the rake. No, that is not the store. You have to go through the opening there.
You must be well behind yourself because you're only finished just cutting the grass now.
No, I go straight on past the sheds. And it's like, yeah, there's a hedge there.
Yeah, that's the... Oh, you're down in the sheep's thing,
Yeah. I don't know why, I just completely brain fart and thought the way out was there. See, for all the power that this tractor's got, it still only does 26 miles an hour. So...
Yeah. I'm telling you, a nice little tractor and then a nice fast freaking JCB.
See, if I thought this out correctly, what I should have done is put the the mowers all connected together, took the mowers and the rake down together. When I brought the mowers back, I could have then taken the forage wagon down and then just returned everything else, returned the rake and everything down at the field. Didn't think of that one. Right, I want the rake now. That's the tether, da.
So like the 27 now, you're still tight to the fence, but not under the fence.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
A word of advice with that thing now and that barbed wire fence.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful. I managed to clip it through it yesterday.
Oh, through it.
Through it. Because of the way Giant's collisions work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tried folding it, saying if I folded it might pull it off. Well, it turned it, not only did it lay it down its side, it laid the tractor down its side as well.
Okay. So, yeah,
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was the one up by in the cow pasture.
Mm-hmm.
Down by the road.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I managed to get it out in the end, like.
Oh, that's the one that Kevin got stuck on as well.
That's, yeah. I managed to, what you call it. So I didn't quite turn the tractor over, but I opened it up again, it flipped the tractor back again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I unhooked the tractor and then I rammed it.
Yeah.
And that got it out. Albeit backwards, but back to front, but I got it out and then managed to maneuver it out.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I gotta go. I'll catch you guys on the
Alright,
okay, Dan.
talk to you later.
So, yeah. I hate the small axle things. They're fucking annoying. Trying to back them up because once they go too far around, you ain't getting it back.
I don't bother backing yourself. Yeah. Well, actually, I use GPS for doing that.
Ah. Should have done two headlands actually, but oh well.
I didn't cut. I cut the bit around the back of it, the back of that knot.
No, that was just too much like. No, wrong button. That was too much like hard work. I only want to test the bunker. Otherwise, I'd have done hay bales.
Between that and the cow thing, I got 86, I think. I think I ended up with 83 in the bunker, but
Mhm.
I think I had 86-ish starting off.
Yeah. I will probably mow the grass fields at the back of the farm.
Not fill it up properly.
If it works, and then if it doesn't come through, and if it doesn't, then just keep filling it until either it's full or a problem shows.
Yeah. Well, I only had the one bit when I was tipping it, but when I was rolling it, it was still going out.
Mm-hmm. So I'll put the rake up here. So 2 weeks, in 2 weeks' time, I probably won't be here for a couple of days.
I was listening to your stream yesterday.
Mm-hmm. That's the plan
It was
anyway.
a fast appointment.
Mm-hmm. It was, especially when I phoned them up a couple of days ago and said you know that because I told them that I'd got the flu for the one that it was for Christmas, because obviously I didn't want to say, oh, don't I do, because it's Christmas and the kids. It was
Yeah.
I got the flu, and it was like, oh, so we can we can put you back on the waiting list then. It's like, oh, I wasn't on the waiting list already. No, but we can put you back on there. And it's like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, like a few days later, and the letter comes through, and it's like, geez, that was quick.
See, they get that done now for Brexit when the whole place falls apart.
I know, right?
The NHS will have to close down because nobody will be working for it, and there'll be no medicines, and there'll be no be riots on the street.
Oh, the government have got all that sorted out. It'll be perfect.
They have a plan to evacuate the Queen in case of riots and civil unrest.
Yep.
They've got 3,000 soldiers on standby in case there's disruption and they're needed.
I've got this the wrong way around, haven't I? I have. In case they're needed.
Well, the
course.
government have it sorted. They probably have evacuation plans for them as well in their secret bunker somewhere.
Yeah, of course.
See, fucking the zombie apocalypse. Fair off.
Yep. They've been storing food probably for fucking since it was announced that we was going to leave the EU. Knowing them, that was their strategy
Blair
all
was
along.
probably off in his or whoever. Who was it? No, it wasn't Blair. It was who was the fella that called it? He's probably in his fucking villa in Spain or somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't follow it. I don't follow government. It's the
Cameron.
yeah. That's
he
the
was the one that called it.
Oh, yeah, you mean the one who started it all off? Oh,
The
yeah.
one who called the thing, yeah.
Yeah. Vote for me to stay as president, as Prime Minister, or vote to leave the EU, and if you do so, I will retire. That was the choice, and it was like, well, most people hate your guts, so guess what they're going to probably vote for?
That was it, yeah.
I bet they all rue the fucking that now and wish
Well-
they'd gone the other way.
Even yesterday, coming out of Europe, it has always been like, well, they can always stay if they want.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear the comment that was made yesterday?
No.
The chief negotiator for Europe basically said, as out war in England over it, he said, I wonder what the special place in hell is like for those people that called for Brexit without basically without a clue of how to actually get it done. And this is the fella who's always saying, well, they can always stay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, yeah, you've made your bed now and that's it.
Yep.
You don't want to stay, good luck, son, you're gone to battle.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, what the hell did I hit there?
The tree.
Ooh. That was definitely very interesting.
Well, I'm watching you driving down the road at speed, so I'm assuming you hit something.
When I go to turn into the field, I stop to drop off the trailer so I can turn around and drop off the mowers and that. Because I don't want to...
Hit the hedge, did you? No.
I don't know
Oh,
why.
you hit the hedge and you ended up blowing yourself in. I'd say, yeah, because you have the front mower on. I'd say it's the way the front mower caught the collision.
Oh, okay.
And that tipped you, which sent you sideways. and I would assume, like, that tractor with that amount on the front end is fairly light on the back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So as soon as, like, it'd be tipping at the front, and as soon as you hit the thing, then the back just bounced around because it had no weight.
Mm-hmm. I'll go and pick up all this.
Gee, back to good old days, my alarm went off. Yeah, you must go collect the kids. Yeah, I'll just do one more bit.
So you miss those days, really? At least it's not factorial.
Yeah.
One bit becomes 2 hours and then you get a phone, instead of a message, it's they're calling you going, are you coming to pick up your kids today by any chance?
Well, no, I have never not got to them. Maybe
I've just got to just put this track in. I need to get these gears over to here.
Of course, the days you always leave it to last minute, then is the day that there's heavy traffic or something.
Yep.
Because the road I have to go collect them, like it's a two-way road, and it's plenty wide enough for two-way traffic, but there's absolutely no parking on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And if you meet a cyclist, you can't go around the cyclist if there's traffic coming towards you. Like,
Yeah.
it's literally wide enough. Well, there's two buses. Certain bits they can't, but generally they can. But yeah, so what people, it's through a front gate of the university.
Mm-hmm.
So people decide, well, if I stick two wheels up on the footpath, not only can I block the whole road and keep that at a standstill, I can also block the footpath and keep all the people standing there looking at it. So instead of just staying out on the road and dropping off people or picking people up, because you can't go around them anyway,
Mm-hmm.
they put two wheels up on the footpath. Oh, look at me, I'm half off the road.
Yeah. But now I'm blocking everything.
But I'm still blocking, not only am I blocking the road, I'm also blocking the footpath, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Brains. Some people wasn't born with any.
Yeah.
See, the zombie apocalypse already started. It's just they don't want to eat your brain. They just don't have any.
I'm trying to give it another, for us, 50 days now, right? And beating people's, well, give it another week after that. When there was a food shortage, of beating people's brains. God. then the zombie apocalypse will definitely be here.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the government's already said to everybody, start stocking up your cupboards.
But there's going to be no shortage, no interruption, no nothing. It's going to be smooth as ever.
Yeah, right. Of course, there's going to be shortage and
2.5
everything.
years later, well, actually, it mightn't work, and
hmm Cameron's probably sitting there going, this is why I retired, because I didn't want to have to deal with all this shit.
who?
Cameron.
Yeah, must have said he's probably off in his villa somewhere in, well, probably not in Europe because he'd probably get lynched there, but somewhere.
hmm Or he's in Australia. It's, you know,
They're
I don't. I'm
politicians.
not part of Europe whatsoever. I've left.
They're politicians. They're the most important person in the world, and then they retire, and it's like, I've got a pension, haha.
hmm
But we can't give you a pension, but we have a good pension.
Yep. You paid me to be in office. Now you gotta pay me to stay out of office until the day I die. Thank you.
Yeah. Great thing about democracy. Well, you can elect us out if we decide.
hmm
The last government we had, like don't know, but like a few governments ago when everyone was given out, at the time of the recession and all that, like
Yeah.
they came out every day and it was like, well, it's a democracy. When the next election comes, if you're not happy with what we're doing, you can vote us out. Elections came, and about I said probably about half the people that were in the government suddenly announced, we're actually not standing for re-election. We're done with politics. It's like we don't even get the opportunity to
Vote you
vote
out.
you out.
Yeah.
And it make you lose. It's like you're just not going to stand. But that's what you've been telling us all along. You have the opportunity to
Yeah.
vote us out if you don't like what we're doing.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden it's, well, we're not going to let you we're not going to give you the choice.
hmm
And they're the same fuckers, then they still keep popping up on the TV interviews, like Sky News comes over and interviews an ex-Irish politician, like, going, yeah, these are the fellas that ran to the woods. They must be short of a few quid now and they're coming out to get paid to do interviews.
hmm
Right, I better stop here, I suppose. Stop. There we go.
Alright, let's take this into the bunker.
Save. You automatically save now, doesn't it?
It does. But I still always do a manual save as well.
Because it's supposed to save every 15 minutes, which I get.
But it only saves when you're on the menu, I think.
But like the killer is, so if you do a fuck up and you want to quit without saving it, you go, well, it hasn't saved in the last 15 minutes, I'd be good.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as you press the menu to get out of it,
It saves.
it saves.
Yeah. Windows key and bring it down, then force it to end
It's
that way.
fucking Alt F4.
Or do that.
There you go. No, you can't save. Ha.
Right, let's tip it here.
You weren't there yesterday when I was there. I was looking at the mods yesterday. I was like, couldn't find that service trailer for the life of me. Looked on through the internet, like, and it's definitely there. Freaking there's a button at the bottom, like, press. You have to press this X or whatever, because I have the Xbox controller hooked up. It's like press X to show all mods. You press that, and it doubles the amount of mods you have in the in-game thing.
Yep, it's coming through.
Is it still coming through?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm watching.
I put the camera down to have a look.
Yeah, I see it there now. Well, I'm behind you, so yeah, I just see it there now. The only other thing would be,
Put the tip collision box back in, around.
do you know the walls that they have in their silage bunker? Could you put that inside your wall?
No. Oh, no, because it's not two separate pieces, it's one full frame. So you can't move the pieces individually.
And what way have they got their tip? What way have they got the so it doesn't go through the walls.
I would have to look.
I'm assuming because that was the whole thing with grain sheds and that in 17 was you had to get the tip collisions on the actual walls, as opposed to just on the ground, so that way it goes up the wall, not just to the edge of the wall. Like if you put a tip collision in,
Yeah.
it doesn't go any further, which means then you can't run it up the wall. I mean, you could try it with the tip collision like we did in 17.
Yeah.
But as I said, what happens then is once it hits that, it just goes up 4 meters, but gives you a slope. It doesn't go straight up, whereas with the walls, you can. So you'd have to look at what way they have their tip collision in their silos.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, the tip collision did work in... Yeah, see, because you were fairly level with that. When I came in at it, I came in at an angle. So, which is why I had a bigger pile there for day one.
Yeah.
But when you start rolling it, it'll go out through it. Right, I must run. Talk to you later.
Okay.
Leave this on anyway.
Yeah.
Watching you.
Okay.
Alright, talk to you later.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.
Right, well. Go and get the rest of the grass, I guess. For now. Fix that. Have another look at it in the editor and see what can be done about it. Don't you just love things then they go wrong? At least we got the cow straw plane fixed. Better than nothing, I guess. But if I'm going to test this again, theoretically what I should be doing is just go into the editor and try and fix it, and instead of doing this. But I just want to take one more load and try it on the other side, and then I can find out if both Hey Stardog. I know, right, farming nerds. Don't know why people find the farming game so good and interesting. You know, so addictive. I don't know why. Personally, I find it a headache having to go in the editor every so often and fix something. Where's the fun in that? Unless you like me and you find the editor actually a lot of fun, then yeah, there is no fun in it. Right, let's go and get that last bit, and then, or almost last bit. And then we will go and try the opposite side of the bunker, and if that works out well, then we know that the setup can work. It's just a case of fine-tuning it, and I would have to put the cheat mod in, then that will allow me to not have to run into feeding troughs and mow fields and things like that, but allow me to just take grass out of the silo and put it straight into the feeding, into the storage bunker, silage bunker, and skip all the in-between process to test. Because ideally I do want an actual playthrough, or to be able to start a playthrough, and I've got to do the same thing to Riverview yet, but the testing's going well. It's just the silage bunker at the moment, that's the only problem. Other than that, it's all going well. That's the field, that's not the farm. It's twice I've done that now. Almost did it on the way up here last time. Oh, when you put stuff into the silage bunker, it comes through the walls and it's not meant to. And so if I look to my right now, you'll see just in the corner there, it's coming through the wall, and that it's not meant to do that. So you need to fix that. Right, here we go. And due to how David came at it, I guess a bit more of an angle on it. You don't have access to this land? What? Yes, I do. Go away with that. Yeah, it's come through. Okay. So I need to fix this particular part. So what we're going to do is late save. minimize that and open up this. And have a look at it. It's I need to go and make sure that the walls have got the correct tip collision thing on them, because I can't say for sure if they do. And import placeables farm, main farm. In fact, they have nothing on them. Because it's using the mask, in which I'm going to go U. Okay, so the walls can't have that on them. It's interesting. But hopefully this will fix the... and then we will test it again. Because clearly this didn't work, because this was meant to stop it, and that isn't working. But we will access all of that. That's build nav mesh. Well, we don't care about building a nav mesh to it, but because object mask, silage pit. No, we didn't want to do that actually. Clear all that. It's the wrong one. It's that one. It's you can't place it within the store because it doesn't work that way. But what it is it spawns it in by the game. So if you start off on any other difficulty, then none of this is here. It's so that those who want to start without a farm and use the actual in-game placeables can do so. If you try to buy it, it will show up in the store and you can buy it, but as David found out, it doesn't. You can't. The animals won't be there. Which is another test I'm going to be doing in a minute as well. So now I need to go into here, placeables, and go to main farm and delete that and export this one. And what was I going to fix or look at? I know there was something. Oh, that was it. Import the animals, cows. and get these actual coordinates and test this part out. No, not that. In fact, is it this? This doesn't have coordinates for this, does it? It's test size. No, it doesn't have coordinates for this particular part. It's in items. And I want cows. I need the minus as well. And see if the icon for the cows is where it should be, and then if that is, then we haven't got to do anything to the actual husbandry itself. Sheep. Because it's kind of a pain in the ass having the icons in the centre of the map. So, see, now I'm testing out the bunker again. I may as well test this part out as well. And the chickens. I've put that in the wrong area. Get that fixed in a minute. That's what you get for seeing zeros and going and saying that's the ones that I needed to replace. It wasn't. So you guys need to be here. And close that. Close that. Don't need to save that now. I think that was the version. Backups, Maypole. Yeah, because then once can go. So it's actually 2_1 because I didn't back up the first version. It's fine. Come on. It's over 100 megabytes now. That can't be right. Over 100 megabytes? Don't think so. Well, you guys ain't needed. Neither are they. Or that. And that's everything. So it is 98 megabytes when it's optimized or set to work as it was intended. And then I want out of here. Was it out of here? No, it was out of here. Station free fruit. And we'll see. Fun and games. And we don't want this save anymore. Yeah, it is tiny, 98 megabytes. Bigger than what it was. I mean, it used to be 57 megabytes. So I mean, but it's for what it's got in the map. It's a lot smaller than. So mini map. So the cows are now shown where they should be. Chickens are there, sheep are there. So you jump to them. So, but the sheep pasture hasn't spawned in here. This was the problem I was having. So that means I bet the cows haven't spawned in either. Nope. So the sheds for the cows and everything are somewhere else. Up there, look. Directly above us. That's very interesting. 900 megabytes, wow. So if that's all the way up there, why is that all the way up there? I think I might have the answer to that one. Let's edit a file. Let's edit maps. Not farmland, it's actually not in maps, it's in default items. Let's change the husbandry, this part, to a 0. And we want to delete that one and put this one in. Let's see if that fixed it. I think it would, yeah. They're floating animals. That would be. In fact, the thought of having a cow shit on your head is scary enough. Right, let's see. I'll turn the speed down again. Are you in place? You are not. Because you're not over here. What about the cows one then? Nope. Because the cows one didn't spawn here either. Chickens. Chickens aren't here. So, that kind of messes that one up, doesn't it? So where does the i3D file for these say that they are located then? Because there's got to be something off with them. So cows. That's wooden fenced, I want that. It's a node. 129271. 129271. So it's reading Cow Husbandry Lodge. That's this part. 2197, which is where the Y coordinates would have been, which I set to 0. And then the Z coordinates. And then these are the trigger coordinates for animal loading. Maybe I shouldn't have moved the actual cow zone and dropped it where I dropped it. Maybe I should have spawned it in wherever it was, which would have been the centre of the map, and then moved the stuff over. Maybe then it would have worked correctly. I don't know how that would have been, but... Exactly. FBI agents Mueller and Scully sent to investigate Mulder. Well, that's scary in itself, having them guys come and investigate something like that. So what could I do to get animal load trigger stable, cow stable trigger? That's its coordinates. Feeding, exact fill route node. And then it's animal places, bale, statistics, cubicles, and then all the boarding. Water trough, water plane, liquid manure. Motor manure start, width and height. Warning stripes, gate trigger, and then what's this? Minimum max, move min max. I think this is to be able to move the actual building, isn't it? Up and down. Hello, Marcine. Just trying to figure out how to get the cow icon to appear where the cow barn actually is. And integrate 800,000 capacity. See, that's the parent group of it all. And then all of this is within that parent group. So the coordinates of this is not within the map coordinates, but the map coordinates within the parent group, which are separate to the actual map coordinates. I know, confusing, but I honestly do not get it. See, when I press Control B, which puts it wherever you your mouse pointer is when you left click, and release is where it drops it, so everything should be within this area. So animal triggers are there. Yes, I'd like to open all of this. And that's doing exactly the same as that. Level area, ramp, forage, gate trigger. All of the things are here in this area. So why is it telling to put the icon somewhere over here? It just doesn't make sense. Of course, there's no way of telling it in the XML, because this placement is not, to my knowledge, is not anything, because that's just its size. X and Z test size. And then its rotation, use manual rotation. Got a maximum of 4, should have been 500. It's food, water, liquid manure, food spoilage, milk, straw. Tip collision, so it doesn't have anything there. And that's just a PNG, it's not an XML, so it's not reading an XML to find out where it should put this stuff, but it does read an XML. Yeah, doesn't it? So let's go and look at this. Maybe you need to start a new game to see the icons change. That was a new game. And I don't know. Wrong one. Data characters. Characters. I don't. That's clearly not in here. That's a hidden file. You don't have access to that one. It's hard coded, so yeah. No, it's okay. Just it's frustrating. That's the problem. It's extremely frustrating as to why it's not. Didn't mean 9. The wrong one. I ain't gonna get very far doing that. I need to delete this. Close the game first. Would help, wouldn't it? Okay, back to the drawing board for that particular problem. And test the bunker out. What did I do to the bunker? Oh yeah, I made the walls. So it's meant to read them as, but it will be nav mesh. It's not going to read it as object mask, is it? That's the downside. Alright. Stuck in that damn. Don't need that open. Right. Let's go. Of course I don't have access to that because it's not my land. And I don't have the money for that either. Now I have the money. Wrong button. Place it there. And I'm going to need you can hold how much? 31,000 or 39,000? Well, you will do. In fact, garage, let's Sell that. Sell that. And that. And that. Right. Not oversized whatsoever. Looks perfectly normal. Ah, drive control. Yes. It's a must. Damn, it's almost 2:30 already. Jeez. Well, here we go. And while that's doing that, I'll go and get a coffee, so I'll be right back. How about that for timing? Maybe I should buy a shoehorn. Shoehorn? Could. Might need more than a shoehorn if the cows are still above us. Nope, they're over there. Their pasture's where it should be now. That's just weird. Might need to buy a stress ball, you know. That might be something. Alright, let's see. Do not have access to this land. Why do I not have access to this land? I own this land. Because I don't own this land. Very good. Now I do. Yep, that clearly worked. Amazing. Should pat myself on the back with a shotgun. Wow. Well, it follows the wall. That's a good sign. Bad sign is the wall doesn't do what it's meant to do and stop it from coming through. So back to the drawing board on that one as well. So maps, you. Remember when I said about quitting smoking? 6 months I've had no cigarettes. Let's see how long I can go without. Good idea, do a map. Work on a map, Rory. You'll be fine if you don't end up smoking before the map's finished. Or by the time the map's finished, then you've done an amazing job. So you have an object mask. I just put you in the wrong place, didn't I? That was why. See, I knew there was a reason. It's you I wanted, though. What? I will sort it out, have faith. Yeah, it's definitely Moondog's fault, though. I completely agree with you there. But I do not need this. This is the cow silo tip call. I do not need that. Or I shouldn't need that. And just to be on the safe side, we'll give you that as well. And then we have to go to... which one? We don't need you. We need to... not map gates, map main farm. And delete that. And now we need to export this again. And then we can close this. No, we don't want to save. And what we do want to do though is open that, placeables, and delete these. And then add it from here. Where are we? Main farm. That's the one. And launch the game. Yep, perfect. In fact, I do not need you right now, so you can go. Good. We can sell this. No, not that one. Lease as is. Take a trailer, tipper. You. Buy. I'll have to redo the painting for this so that this part's all included in the area. Jeez, my alarms will be going off soon. If this doesn't work, then I will have to look at it off cam, and after I've banged my head against the wall several times and fetched the kids and had food and banged my head against the walls a bit more. You're hungry? Yeah, I'm actually hungry as well. I haven't had anything to eat yet. I was very quick out on the bike today. Let's just put it that way. I just didn't feel it. It was like, no, I want to get home. That one. Not close enough. Ah, there.
That's bad.
Hello, armour. Start. Need a big plate of biscuits and gravy. We're having pasta salad. I think that was why he said yesterday that we're having today.
Really?
Huh?
I don't do it. No, but I haven't even been in a stream.
Oh.
I haven't figured out what I never streams.
Well, it'll sound good. I've just got toothache, which is going to be interesting to say the least. Oh, why does this take so long to fill up? In fact, I'm sure 16,000 litres is more than enough to see if it comes through the wall, right? 18,000 litres by the time we get moving into position. Why didn't you all tip? I said. Because stop and go is not switched on. Switched off rather. So. Better. Damn, that didn't work. Still coming through the walls. have to look at the default one and, as David said, and see if there's anything special that they've done. But I'm going to have to go because I need to get ready for school runs. So I'm going to thank everybody for coming in and watching. If you haven't done so, hit the like button.